Let's get started. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, a nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Here.
Joe Decker,
Here.
Deb Hendrickson,
Here.
Joe Saylor,
Here.
and Richard Hill.
Here.
Have a quorum.
Harmon invocation, please.
Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance and wisdom this evening as we conduct the business of the town. Thank you during this special time of year and for the gift of Jesus. Please help us share kindness, give freely, and be a light to others. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Any questions about the agenda? Question, okay. Minutes from November 12th. Questions, concerns on the minutes at all?
This one. Right here. Something thinks the difference.
We have a motion on the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Second.
Quick roll call, please.
Brown,
Yes.
Joe Decker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0.
On to the voucher packets of 12. Questions, concerns at all? None.
I did not.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve voucher packet.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
I think she might have a question
Oh,
for just a second. She said, so I'm assuming she has a question.
Do you have a copy of the deposit collections?
there's not one in there.
You don't need these.
There was only one. Let's see here.
Do you have a copy of them?
No, I don't.
What are you looking for?
Deposit collections. It usually follows the credit card.
Have that ran this time. I can go run it right now. There was only one transfer for this month. It was one bulk transfer, but there was a transfer out of there for the deposit.
Okay.
But it looks like we do not have it printed if it is not in your stuff.
You need to see that to approve.
I just wanted to make sure there was a transfer, because if there wasn't a transfer, then the numbers would be off.
Yeah, there was. I will make sure that I email that to you guys following tonight.
That's fine.
Any other question, concerns? Debbie?
No.
No. So we have a motion for approval for the voucher package. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Joe Decker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
Financial report. Kayla?
So I'll go ahead and pull up the little show that we have prepared for you guys. There wasn't really anything out of ordinary for this month. I don't know if you want me to go through each one. I can. Otherwise, we were able to gain interest from the bank of $33,014.19 between all of our accounts combined.
You guys want to hear the balances?
No.
Fine.
You're good?
Yeah.
I
Do
think we're,
you have a budget for the interest in the checking accounts? Or are you just leaving it? Okay, I didn't know if you had any plans on spending it.
No, but again, the goal, once we get through everything is to appropriate every dollar. So we wouldn't necessarily, I mean, it's revenue coming in, but if we
Right.
want to earmark it and use it for a special.
That's what I meant, earmark.
Okay,
Okay,
but as of right now, we're not doing that.
okay.
It's just going into the general deposit collection.
Other questions from the panel?
No. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm.
Ms. Carmen?
We introduced the ordinance 2025-13, which is the salary ordinance for 2026. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I would accept a motion to approve.
Did have a question. So on your salary, you have a budgeted amount. I think we need to have a specific amount, right? The council provide specific amount for Ms. Carmen's salary.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we've done that in the past. Have we done it just as a raise to previous salary versus changing,
Same as everybody else's usually.
no, but I mean is so we were changing the budgeted slot. And my recollection was that last time we met, we had discussed that being slightly different than just the normal, whatever the across the board was, because of the split in the position previously, which no longer exists.
Yeah, and she said that she figured it up and what it would have been had there not been a split.
Mhm.
And you came up with the 91.5 would have been,
Yeah,
what it would have been if you hadn't split it?
94.
84.
94, okay.
I suppose we probably got to pass this first and then we can take that up, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Can we not?
Yeah,
Well, this was addressed or presented at least at the last meeting. Was there any action taken or was it just a mere introduction?
It was an
question.
Okay, all right. I mean, it's up to you as to what, and in my opinion, whether a motion approves it as is, or if it moves to revise it, then approve it. Revise and then approve as revised. However you feel like doing it. I don't think you necessarily have to approve it as it is. In fact, I think it'd be best to resolve the ambiguity in that town manager position first, in my view.
Yeah, I think, so she knows what to do.
And that was also to open up the conversation if you all wanted to provide a performance evaluation on my position. It was a discussion we had last year for my position, the director of operations and the police chief, and those performance evaluations didn't happen. So that was another reason I just kind of left it as an option, or a range.
Well, I'm prepared to make a motion to approve and add the amendment that the town manager's salary would be set at $94,500 within the window of the salary ordinance. But anything that we want to do more motions made.
Well, going back to what Carmen, and I apologize, didn't bring my notes from last. I think you were at the 94.5 with,
If there wouldn't have.
if there wouldn't have been, and then there was like a 2% on top of that or 3% on top of that for potentially what we're doing here, right? So
Does the 94.5 include the raise?
include
That
that?
includes the raise. If you would have followed the normal protocol with previous positions for that town manager staying in that position with the previous raises that we've received the last 2 years to that position, that would take it to 94.
And that takes into consideration with this year's suggestion or recommendation on what you're, okay. Just wanted to make sure that was.
The only reason I added a little bit of an extra range is because also we discussed the HR responsibilities And, in addition to, does that,
And that's next on the item list, right?
well, that's, you guys pick what you want. And then if you come back later in the year and want to do an amendment based on HR responsibilities, and if there's an opportunity for an increase at that point, then that's your decision.
Yeah, because you asked for the HR position.
Right.
Okay.
So the motion on the table is from Joe 94.5.
Well, I haven't made it yet.
Oh.
but,
Okay.
As
Apologies.
long as there's nothing to, okay. My motion would be to approve ordinance 2513, which is the 2026 salary ordinance. I'm gonna move to make an amendment to just make that a flat 95,000 for the town manager position. It's a slight tick over what the analysis would. A lot of justification for there to be an additional amount there and an additional reconsideration if HR transfers. So my motion is to approve with the setting the town manager salary at 95,000.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Oh, I wrote my initials. Brad beat me too.
A roll call, please.
On one side,
Oh,
I was just trying to do some math. And someone can verify if I got this right, but the total number for the year would be 95,000 according to the motion. I would recommend that you also modify the bi-weekly salary to match up with that. And what I come up with is 3,653.84, actually 85, rounding it. Based
But
upon dividing that 95,000 by 26. Is that how many pay periods you,
126 here.
yeah,
dividing it, excuse me.
3653.85, 3653. 5 times 26. That takes her to 95,000 and a penny. So that's fine.
Right, and with the vision in my motion that would then reflect, I don't remember what the number was that Mr. Watson, Ms. Hendrickson came up.
Say 36.
$3,653.85.
Be the bi-weekly breakdown of that 95,000 salary.
you have a second? Roll call, please.
Brad,
No.
Brad Godecker, Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Pass 4-1.
One 26 sewer and water utility rate.
month we was still finalizing everything, but I've got a couple of documents received. One is the cash flow by fund for both sewer and water. I'll specifically go for sewer first. So just so you all know, these are numbers that Adam put together, and two numbers I want to draw your attention to on the cash flows by fund. Again, on the sewer utility is the pilot, which is the payment in lieu of taxes fee that we then take from the sewer operating and transfer into the general fund every year, or this will be our second year doing this. That amount that's estimated for 2026 is $17,634. In addition, we've what's called a transfer out to depreciation, or what we call our sewer improvement fund. Again, the second year that we've done this. This basically says, okay, what is it? We look at what it costs on our sewer operating budget and run the sewer department. And then if we have any excess, instead of leaving that sit in our operating fund, let's put it into an improvement fund that then could be earmarked for projects or pay for equipment via cash. Last year, or so for 2025, the depreciation amount was $226,448. And for the 2026 amount is estimated at $755,245. Duffy's done a great job of running our sewer plant with the revenues that were coming in. But don't get too excited, because we have some projects that we're been kicking down the road, and we will be coming forward with some projects in January to discuss. how we might plan to use some of those dollars. But with that, I'll roll into the sewer operating budget.
Wait a
And
minute, can I ask some?
yes,
The transfer out to depreciation, the reason that it's that high is because you plan on paying a bond payment out of it? I mean-
we're
That's a big difference from 226 to 755. That's why I'm asking.
that's where, as we're getting comfortable with Adam, reconciling our books and making sure do we have what we need to run the department for the year, and then what excess do we have? And instead of leaving it sit in a savings account or even in the operating fund, let's move it into the improvement fund and let's start putting those dollars to use. That way we can explain to our taxpayers why we have the rates we have, and we're actually doing something with the money and not leaving it sit in a savings account.
But he hasn't explained to you why the big jump.
I didn't know, I don't have why it jumped up so much. If you look at what our beginning cash, like if you look at cash in there, I mean, it was over $2 million, and it's like I said, it's kind of one of those things where instead of leaving it in the operating sitting there, let's earmark it for our savings account and then plan for whether that be paying something with cash or setting it aside for a bond payment.
Is there a way to get a report from him as why he changed the numbers?
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, I can dig in and ask him for additional money.
I'd just like to see what he's looking at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And you can see through the years, so it goes back to 2023 that shows you the cash flow and the dollars that have come in regards to that. And a lot of that is just due to the growth too, that it's come in. But we also know we're kicking a big sewer project down the road that we need to start tackling. And like I said, we're planning to come back in January with our plan for a project, as well as the financing. We're just tying everything up to be prepared to present to you all next month. Jesse might go into that a little bit later today.
So you transferred 226,000 last year, you said, right?
In 2025.
Yeah, I mean, 2025.
Yes.
Do you have
Today.
something that shows, oh, you
It's
didn't,
literally done today.
okay, so it hasn't been spent.
No,
Okay, so
No.
you're gonna have that in there plus the 755.
yes.
Gotcha, gotcha.
Yep.
Okay,
And
you're gonna have a separate account.
it'll be in the sewer improvement.
Okay, so it'll be
Again,
in the sewer improvement.
is
Gotcha.
Appropriate every dollar. We start using POs the way that they
Yes.
should be used. So we can truly know our actual balances. So if we have a project right now, we do a PO for it, it should go ahead and pull that money out so we don't forget that we have these bills to pay that are tied to that PO. And we haven't quite gotten there where we're using the PO as we should. So
Oh, okay. So when he does a PO, then you have to sign a PO,
yes, POs are supposed to be for larger projects
Right.
that
right?
have multiple invoices tied
Right.
to them that are also tied to a contract that
Okay,
that may carry over into a couple of years, which is.
And you actually sign off on that and then the clerk treasurer takes care of it after that, correct?
That is what will be happening. Yes.
Right. But when we get there, that's
When we
what
get-
will be happening. You'll oversee everything, work with your guys, and you'll sign off on the fine.
Right.
Okay, that's what I thought.
So within the sewer budget itself, the only, we actually did increase the expenditures, but you can see that includes that pilot fee, which is the same as last year. And then that increase in the depreciation, call it the depreciation fund, but again, that's going into the improvement fund. In addition, we did go ahead in the operating budget, earmark or ask for $250,000 for capital outlays, which would be for that back truck we've been kind of talking about. And again, we'll be talking about that a little bit later with what they have found out from IDEM on that and kind of finalizing the apparatus we'd like to bring to you and present for purchase. So that would be a cash purchase between water, sewer, and storm. Any questions on the sewer budget? besides those, the depreciation increase and the capital outlay increase, it's pretty similar to last year.
You're gonna get verification from Adam on that.
On the increase on the. There's no question on that. It's very similar with the water. Well, not very. We're not getting enough money to transfer into a depreciation or improvement fund on water. So we're actually not charging enough, okay? So just, you can see on the cash flow of funds, you can see at the bottom is red. So that is something we will need to be looking at as far as how do we tackle that? Is that through rates? Is it through reduction of expenditures and such? So as of right now, the only thing that is similar to last year on the water is the pilot, which is the payment in lieu of taxes, which is $46,008, which is a calculation that Adam has put together. $0 will be transferred out to depreciation. And like I said, the budget is fairly similar to last year. Actually, it decreased by $45,000, but we're still, that's an area of opportunity for us to be looking at. What are we doing? How are we doing it? But we also have a lot of projects on water we need to tackle. So
$170,000 shortfall in 2026. Didn't we just adjust the water?
and we will, it's a step increase.
Yeah, each year.
So next year there'll be a rate, the rate adjusts a bit.
But
Hopefully it'll catch up.
when we discussed this months ago, and I think Tim and I came in and we talked all through this was gonna put us in the black and not in the red. So how did we get in the red right off the bat of raising the rates for 2026?
So the only thing I can take a stab at is it goes all the way back to reconciliation and making the correction. And that, when we did the rate study, that was with a different financial advisor.
That was with Reedy running the
Yes.
numbers. And
Yes.
Stone came in
Yes.
and they were supposed to double check, correct? So
So
now we're in the red right off the bat in 2026.
for what we're spending, what we have budgeted. Now, we still have money. It's not that we don't have the fund balances there to absorb that. But it is something that we'll need to take a deeper look at.
170,000 has to come somewhere.
Right.
Right,
It
to
is
make
in
it
the-
square.
Right. It's in the fund balance. It's just not
In the budget.
not in the revenue. And I don't remember off the top of my head what the rates will go to for next year. But I guess I'll treat it, and I'll have him double check for the 3-year increase of what this was to look like. If by year 3, we're short up. It's similar to when we do the trash contract. For the trash contract, we usually it's usually a 4-year contract. We set one rate. So we're short in the first few years and then we catch up in the last 2 years. And so I will double check with Adam. Unfortunately, with the date change of the meeting, he wasn't able to be here tonight to ask him to help.
I would just think that delta would have reared its ugly head in prior discussion somewhere to where we would have a negative, not in our second reading where we thought we were going to be okay. And now we have a big influx of, that concerns me.
So when we got these the day of the meeting, these calculations, the day of the November meeting, and I don't think I shared you at that time. I don't even know that.
No, I like those. I like these reports.
And this report, this budget
Yeah, I
is
mean-
way easier to read than what we had before. So I will get with Adam on that. We have enough money in our fund balance to carry that 170 if it continues to be a negative. But I will look at, well, he should have in here what the generated revenue should be. So I'll verify and see if he has in there the rate increase.
Remember, the fund balance is your bank accounts and where your appropriation where you spend it is what you budget. Two different things. You have more in your bank than you budget. I mean, I have to do that because like the DLGF wouldn't approve the general fund budget if we used all of our money in our bank account.
But you should
So-
have discussion of raising rates
Right.
and however the books and however you do that.
Yeah.
But you
She's
shouldn't have
just
discussion
guessing.
like that, then we're right off the bat in a negative. Yeah, I would ask that we get clarification on that, please.
That's if we kept the spending at what it was. We may not have that spending next year that we spent this year.
Well, what did I say? The spending, actually, the budget went down.
Yeah.
5,000, but it still isn't enough to meet that. And, at this point, this is always a fund that, so one of the things that Adam and I have talked about is ways to save money, even though this budget may get approved at this amount, is that we delay hiring or we delay purchases, or maybe some of these purchases may not happen. Like the vac truck that we're looking at probably is not going to cost $750,000. And so there's ways for us to make sure we don't hit that red in this operating budget. But we can always come back and say, maybe we approve it at this amount minus what the red is showing, or we go forward with what's presented and we make adjustments throughout, like with not hiring right away for a position, or like I said, just trying to,
Or you put the vac truck,
with projects.
or you put the vac truck on hold and hire it out. That'll save some money to get it back up.
Or the water doesn't put as much towards it. Right there would be, I have 250,000. With the other two, the stormwater, but stormwater probably won't use it as much as sewer and water. And so, that's where we tried to departmentalize as well and make sure.
They did some, their item said they can, ours said we can't, not in our system, we're not allowed to. Apparently, I'm assuming that's what's going on. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, if Flood Waste could come out and do it, at least save some costs until, with us having to tell the fire chief he couldn't get his, ladder truck and stuff, and they showed that they had money and we're showing we don't have no money. So
That's
it's
if you spend the money.
right, but it's hard to, but it's still coming up with zero.
Right.
So it's hard to say, yeah, let's jump this, but we could do other ways by hiring Flood Waste to come out and take care of it when you need it and stuff like that. This would be my only thought.
The other thing we had put in here is as a budgeted item, water improvement, the very last, look at the capital outlays. The very last item is and that's meant for projects that we could take care of internally with our own staff, or even contracted out. We put $100,000. I'll tell you, that was in this last year's budget and none of it got spent. So it's not saying that we're going to spend every dollar that we have. But if you guys feel more comfortable with making cuts to where we get that 169,000, we can scrub through it right now, or this is a utility. This can come back to you all next month.
I'd like to see what Adam comes up with, just to make sure the math is correct. There's not like a clerical error or typo or something.
The only thing I would ask for us to go ahead and at least allow is the salaries. So category 1, personal services. I would at least ask for us to be able to proceed with that part of the budget, and that I go back with Adam and screw through it. And now that we have these, that negative amount, and figure out where else we can save some dollars. At least in the operating budget. But I would at least ask for category 1 to get approved.
That's listed as personal services
Correct.
on both pages.
It should just be on page. On the back page this is page 1. It's the first line items up through, you'll see other services.
Should say salaries.
Salary,
Salaries.
Wages, and then it's
wages.
pensions and
Pension
benefits.
benefits.
Yeah.
So I would just ask that, because that all of us are paid out of water. And I think you'd have some disgruntled employees if it's
think that's a reasonable request to cover that.
Doing this two separate motions. The sewer you're good with, make a motion to approve that, and then on the water, however you guys get it.
Well.
I don't have it broken up by the amounts per category though.
I think that might be helpful in understanding the discrepancy or the change. I'm seeing the operating revenues. In 2025. For 1,897,000. And then budget projection for 2026, they are about $95,000 less. Do we know what the actuals were or projected to be for this year
Yeah,
in relation to these? I mean, what was do we know the basis for the $95,000 reduction in estimated revenues? You would have thought that it would go the other way.
that is a conversation I'll have to have with him. To be honest, we've not had a discussion about it. It was just, I put in the numbers and he gave me back this, so we'll double check that.
So you need a motion on the table for both the water operating and the sewer operating for the personal services, salary and wages and pension and benefits.
Well, if you're good with the sewer budget, that one's good to go. I'd ask for a full approval of that. Water, if you're only comfortable with personnel services, approving that.
Do you think you'd have that information by next week?
Or we could,
Well, I mean, because if we're gonna meet next week,
Oh, yeah, we can push it out. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. We could push that one.
it's a special meeting, right? It's not executive.
Correct.
So we
Yeah.
can add to the agenda.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, what's next?
We can add,
I know Adam will be.
we can add water
Next
to
week.
next.
next Monday.
Monday.
I gotta reset my email.
I'm gonna make a motion, we approve the sewer budget.
I'll second.
We're calling the sewer budget, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson. Yes. Joe Saylor
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
5-0.
And then I'll go back to the drawing board on the water.
Then we can discuss that next Monday.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Okay,
Good idea.
all right, make sure we have a quorum.
And you say next month, are you meaning?
Next Monday.
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 Okay.
That's still on, right? At
I'll be,
7?
yeah, I'll be here. I may be wrapping presents, but I'll be.
Yeah.
It's,
It shouldn't take long.
Yeah.
Okay. Next item is the 2026 meeting calendar approval. It was in your agenda. Every meeting right now, except for Plan Commission, will have a new start time of 6 p.m. And then when the Plan Commission meets in January, well, the next time they meet, they would have that discussion on if they are able to or open to switching the start time to 6 p.m. So I'd ask for approval of the 2026 meeting calendar so we can release this to the Daily Journal and other bodies.
I'll make a
Any
motion.
questions?
Oh, I'll make a motion to approve the calendar.
Sorry, everybody can do the 6 o'clock.
I'm questionable. I'll play it by ear. Questionable and in the entirety on, are we talking about for next year or for?
Next year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant for Monday. No, that's fine. Yeah, yeah. 6
So Monday,
o'clock is
you're
fine.
questionable, but the 6 p.m. for
Yeah.
next year. you're
I
good.
misunderstood what we were talking about.
All right, Deb made a motion. Second, please.
I'll second.
Please.
Brown,
Yes.
Godecker, Deb Hendrickson.
Yeah.
Joe Saylor
Yes.
and Richard.
Yes.
0.
Mr. Watson? Employee handbook, I believe.
Yes, there were two items that you asked me to follow up on. And I provided you with a memo that I had you on those two items. Essentially, at the November 12 meeting, you took action to shift the responsibilities for human resources to the town manager. And you asked what, if anything, needed to be adjusted in our town code or our employee handbook to reflect the adjustment of that and to make sure that there is procedure that would allow any employees that had, an issue with the town manager to be able to voice their concerns to someone other than the town manager. And I have proposed I believe it's a modification. Yes, a modification of section 34.01 of the town code to add the human resources function to the town manager's responsibilities. And then secondly, posed an addition to the employee handbook under the topic problem resolution procedures to add a provision that would prescribe employees to submit any concerns they have to the clerk treasurer in the event that they have an issue with the town manager. And so if you are comfortable with these recommendations, I would then prepare formal revisions to the town code by way of ordinance, a resolution to revise the employee handbook to incorporate this new provision.
I had a question on this or
Yeah.
suggestion possibly.
Yeah.
The way it reads, it almost opens the door to where it's automatic if you have an issue with the town manager that you can do this. Can we put language in there that there is some sort of attempt of reconciliation on the issue or something before it goes to the second step?
For some reason, I thought that it was somewhat already, that concept was already included, but let's just see what the first paragraph might say. Employees are encouraged to bring to any attention issues concerning regarding the employment order in order to minimize the possible. Talk with it is suggested, okay, let's start over in that sentence. In order to minimize the possibility of misunderstandings, it is suggested that employees talk with their immediate supervisor as soon as possible. The supervisor will investigate, evaluate, etc.
Are you reading the manual or are you reading?
This is from the manual. It's from
Oh,
the
okay.
memo,
This is
which is
an
part of the manual.
amendment to it.
Oh,
Well, that part's not going away.
Right, that's gonna stay in there. And then let's just read the new language.
But, paragraph is that?
It's on the second page.
No, I meant 3401 is what you're changing. What is that one?
Maybe I misunderstood. I was thinking you were referring to the employee handbook when you were making those comments.
Oh, see on the back, problem is the resolution procedures. You have to go to their supervisor.
Yeah, the idea of,
I was looking at the underlined on what you were adding. But if it covers that up top,
well, it depends on whether you feel like that suggestion language is sufficient.
I think it has to be sufficient. I don't think you can have a circumstance where you force an employee to take their grievance to the person they have the grievance with. You can recommend it, but I don't think you can force them to.
But I would say that first sentence does kind of
Because they're encouraged.
include, no, I'm looking at the blue underline, which is in the second paragraph.
Oh,
It says,
mine's-
in the event,
Mine's not blue.
well, it's the second paragraph.
Okay.
In the event that employee has an employment-related issue or concern specifically involving the town manager that the employee does not believe it can satisfactorily resolve directly with the town manager. Well, I think that implies that either they have tried or they view the circumstances as such as it's futile to try and just make things worse. So,
but is that their opinion, or is that consensus of both parties on reconciliation of the issue?
It's their opinion. You can't make their ability to appeal to us contingent upon the person that they're filing the grievance against. That's the whole point of it, of there being something other than town manager in the event that
Correct.
there's a grievance against town manager. You can't limit their ability to appeal the grievance. You can't allow the person the grievance is against to limit the ability to appeal it.
Yeah,
And so basically Carmen can't tell them that you can't appeal me to the town council.
Right.
But,
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
I mean,
but they should at least try to go to the town manager.
Yeah, as long
Yeah.
as that,
As long as it's nothing to do with the town manager.
Right.
or even if it is, if it can be
Even if-
resolved amicably, that would be obviously be ideal. but-
Hmm.
They need a middleman.
good, I mean, excellent bringing this up. I think that this covers what we needed to cover.
I do too.
It says, like this is for the event that they specifically have a problem related to the town manager, not like just any problem, that very specific subcategory. Then this is the remedy for that.
I'm okay if everybody thinks it's all right. My interpretation is it didn't include that, so just wanted to bring it up.
Sure.
So with that being said, are we okay with what Mr. Watson has prepared going forward?
I'm good with it.
Go ahead.
Okay,
Do we need a motion?
No, consensus to prepare and bring back to the January meeting is
Yep.
fine.
okay. You have consensus?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
Municipality group. Nothing, possibly he's not here, so.
Just your opportunity to ask for this to be in the agenda every month. On the supplemental agreement update.
Would it be fair that the clerk and the town manager feel that his ongoing efforts are helpful in reconciling?
I believe his efforts are helpful from what I'm experienced with.
So the goal that Adam had set, with the previous clerk treasurer was to be reconciled by the 21st of each month for the previous month, and we are reconciled through November's reconciled, and today's December 16th.
Okay, excellent.
So we still have a lot of cleanup to do,
Mhm.
but we are reconciled.
All right, well, excellent. I
That's a plus.
don't think we need to take any action on that.
Nope.
New business then. Resolution 2024-2025-14.
This is the resolution to authorize the clerk treasurer to encumber certain funds. I will preface this and say that this is voted on or discussed each year. The 2024 encumbrances were never posted or forwarded into the 2025 budget. So a little messy. As far as what we have posted, but everything that I've presented to you in your resolution is tied to an expenditure that did not get spent in 2025 and needs.
We don't have.
We don't have that.
We don't have it. We don't have this.
I have it through SharePoint.
Yeah, it was in the new pack. Oh, we.
Okay. Yep, right here. We got it.
Okay, got it.
Take one back.
We got
There
it.
you go. Give me one.
It's in the new stuff.
It was gonna be to desk last week, but yes, and I emailed it out anyways. So some of this is monies that were encumbered in 2024 that were to be posted and shown in 2025 haven't been shown, but there's still a little bit of residue of those expenditures that were not spent that need to be pushed 2026. The trucks, we've talked about this, that's water operating and sewer operating. That's not something we've traditionally encumbered. Again, we're trying to get better with the encumbrances and things of that nature. That's the 80,000 out of water operating and 40,000 out of sewer operating. In the lit, the amount of $5,671.91, that's what's left of the park master plan expenditure. The 2209 lit is for the, again, it's park related. And that amount needs to be transferred into 2026. And then the CCD, or actually the parks training is, for the other lit was for parks training. And then the 4402 CCD at 40,000 for parks as well. So like I said, it's kind of messy when you look at the encumbrance column on our appropriation report, because nothing was ever posted from 2024. So. But Jenny and I have been working to get the POs so she can go ahead and post it in this year's budget. So then we can just move it to next year's budget. Any questions on that?
Question from the council? No.
Nope.
Do you need a vote or just consensus on that or what, or is
I
that?
could ask three.
It's a resolution,
I'll move to approve, what is that, 2024?
14.
2025, 14.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0.
Nepotism policy, Carmen, or is that?
Oh, that's probably me. By statute and our local ordinances, we have to, and this is also required in order to get your, budget approved and so forth by the State Board of Accounts. You have to certify that you have applied with the town policy on nepotism and contracting with relatives. And each one of you should have been provided a certification form as part of the packet, I believe.
Yes.
And that needs to be signed by each of you individually and provided to the clerk treasurer and possibly the president. The clerk treasurer can get that and
You wouldn't have any.
provide a copy to the president. For some reason I thought
You got your stuff.
statute
That's Richard.
copy.
You got a pretty name.
But I gotta see
Count,
which
yeah.
name they want me to put it.
Starts that way.
I'll just put it under Matthew.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
So if there's any questions, no.
Getting signatures.
Put this under Matthew since it's states Ward 1 Matthew. Just to make sure it's all the same, if that's all right.
Sure.
Doctor.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Watson, you want these or hand these to the clerk treasurer?
Clerk treasurer.
Pass that down, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Engagement letter, sir.
As we annual basis, our firm gives its rates and charges and updates those on an annual basis. That provided an engagement letter update that provides the charges that would be proposed for the town in the upcoming year. Sorry, I don't have that pulled up. There it is. Thank you. And as in previous years, you're being provided a discount from our standard rates. And so respectfully request your approval.
Are we really getting a discount?
Charges a couple more hours and make.
Yes, you probably are.
I'll ask. I'll ask.
So let me ask,
$260 an hour is a.
Fair
quite
rate.
fair.
260.
You know, you know that was coming, right? I mean, you knew that was coming. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, so do we get a discount if it's not you then? If it's somebody else? I'm reading that right here.
It's the same charge for all the attorneys.
Okay, so then what's the 395?
For utility work and litigation.
No, 395. And there may actually be a typo, I think. 224, year 2024.
Oh, 24. No, that don't make sense to me.
My student put an increase from $380 per hour.
In 2020.
That should have been in 2025, my current
Okay.
standard rate. And so next year, 2026, my standard rate is going to be $395 per hour. And so you'll be only paying $260 and
Gotcha.
for general work and $305 for any finance and utility rate proceedings, litigation, or TIF. Things funded with TIF.
That answer your question, Debbie.
Yeah, TIF's a different rate.
Yes. And
Is that
Actually, no.
more or less
it's the 305.
It's 305? Okay,
Yes.
instead of two,
Instead of
It says
260.
TIF.
yeah, gotcha.
General award.
Okay.
We have consensus on your hourly rate and your fees, sir. So thank you.
Thank you. And it calls for a signature by
We need to authorize Carmen to sign it.
that authorized.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Briar Creek, Section 7, is that Carmen?
So this is acceptance of the Bear Creek Section 7 bonds. It's another table here that shows you what's being asked to be put into maintenance, which means we then accept that infrastructure and begin maintaining it. And then you can see the items that are going to stay in a performance bond or go into a performance bond. One thing that was a little different with Briar Creek than what we've made them do in the past, it's something we do with the DR Horton Saddlebrook Farms subdivision, is if they haven't completed the infrastructure, so they're not putting the top coat of asphalt on, but they want us to accept the roll curbs, as we've asked for that to go into a 5-year maintenance bond. Because of the potential damage, you'll have that lip of where they don't have that top coat on there. And with they're still working in there in those neighborhoods with the construction, the heavy equipment, even though we ask them to put plywood down or some sort of protection, put a stone down to help prevent damage to the curb, it's bound to happen. So that was a little bit of a arm twisting to get them to agree to a 5-year. And I told them otherwise it would have to go in performance bond. And I was sticking to my guns on that. So they did agree to a 5-year roll curb maintenance bond, Briar Creek Section 7. Everything else, all of the superintendents have looked at all the infrastructure. Punch list items were complete. So we're ready for dedication and acceptance of primarily the maintenance bonds. But just wanted to give you what's going into performance.
Carmen, question. So future developments and so forth, is that going to be our standard go-to language for the roll curb when we do? I know we've discussed the 3-year maintenance, but if we do that, then we're going to piggyback on the 5 years. It's going to set precedent for all the other projects that we have.
It'll just depend on the time of year too. That's a lot of it is we didn't put the asphalt, the top coat on. They actually wanted to get the top coat finished before this year so that it protects the under the base to where, the salt and snow and moisture gets under there and could potentially cause issues in the future. So it's kind of a case by case basis. Every developer is a little different. Gradison, like I said, it was a little bit of arm twisting, but we're learning a lot as we go and working with the different developers and what they try to skate by. And what we need to kind of sink our teeth into and hold them.
Okay.
I've got a question. Does this mean they're gonna pave it next year, or is it a percentage of houses what's going in, like say 80% full? Are they gonna pave it at that time? Because it's 5 years maintenance, are they gonna wait 5 years to do it? I mean, or what's the town going, are we gonna,
The, they goal was to put the asphalt down again before this year. I would think they want the asphalt down as quickly as possible.
what I was saying is, did anybody ask that question? Because does that give them time to, go ahead and keep building a while and then come back and pave it later? Like, see, our old rule used to be 80%. 75% houses up on most towns, and when we got hit with paving other properties and stuff that we had to take over because nobody pulled a maintenance bond on it or performance bond. So that's why when everybody started saying no, put topping on and stuff. So I was just curious if it's going to make it next year or not.
I can double check because they have to send all their proof of their contracts of cost estimates and actual construction costs were. And I would think I'll have to double check the contract that they sent us for the company that's doing the paving to see if they have a commitment in there, like they have to have this down to hold those rates. Because if they push it out another year or two, they're just want to just charge, Gradison for what the asphalt's going to cost in 2026, 2027. I wouldn't think they would want to wait, but I can't.
I think it's a good point.
Well, the only thing I'm worried about, if they do push it out, why would we go on it? We'd still be on a performance bond. That way, if the road got tore up or something, we could go in and fix it and take it from there. But if they're going to pave it next year, it's not an issue. So
Road surface is staying in performance. It's
okay,
the
curb
that of protecting that, and the until they get that asphalt down, there is that lip. But once
run into it all the time,
it's just that heavy equipment hitting it, snaps it off, breaks it, cracks it.
Right, because our ordinances, our standards, it's bigger than a silver dollar. They have to cut it out. Chips, stuff like that. Now, they have allowed, a lot of them allow them to do vertical cuts up and vertical straight across to let them grind it out and put epoxy in them and stuff like that. And that's been working out real well.
Put them section to section.
Yeah, and that's how we do it.
If they're gonna have to replace curb, it's.
Line to line.
Yep.
No small joints like
So
normal.
they don't, yeah, exactly.
Because mine's all floating now.
Yeah. So, y'all are okay with that? I would ask for approval of the Bear Creek section bonds and dedicated and accepted to the town.
And just for clarification, am I correct that the bonds that are being maintenance be the sanitary sewer system, the storm sewer system, water system, lime stabilization, asphalt paving, roll curb, and street signs?
That's correct.
Okay.
And every one of the managers done took a look and everything looks good.
Make a motion to approve, subject to, review and approve.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Mike Decker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Salem,
Yes.
and Richard Hill. Yes. 5-0.
I believe Stephen's already approved, like reviewed the bonds and our maintenance agreement, so we're good to go. That's one thing that they've also learned. They need to get ahead of the game on those documents. The next thing is the appointment of board and commission members. There are quite a few executive appointments, which is typically just done by the council president. Everybody, with the exception of one position, has asked to remain in their position. We did have our stormwater board president, Dennis Capozzi, had asked for, he resigned from the board at the end of this year. But we did have somebody interested that is a new resident in the Saddlebrook Farms neighborhood, Brittany Collins. So those are the executive appointments, which would be done by Richard, or however y'all want to do this. As far as I know, in January we reorganize, and we've had many discussions about, is that right for the current council president to appoint these positions, but they do expire at the end of this year. So definitely on stormwater boards. And then, like I said, the executive appointments are all wanting to remain in their position. And then, like I said, with Dennis resigning, I do have somebody that would like to fill in that position. The other ones are legislative appointments, which would then be the council. I have, we'll come back to the executive appointments. On the legislative appointments, I have a park board member. When those were started, we had to stagger the term. So we had a 1 year, 2, 3, and 4 year. Josh Henry elected to, or said he would take the 1 year. He does want to continue. He's done a great job on the Parks Board. But we had 2 people that were interested. The reason that I have their party affiliation is for state statute. Parks Board members have to, you cannot have a majority of one political party over another. Josh's party affiliation is Republican. I did have one other Republican that was interested. And then I did have a Democrat that had shown some interest as well. Like I said, Josh has done a great job. So I put some recommendations in there. And then from the redevelopment commission, we had the 2 individuals that are legislative appointments would both like to continue in that position. And you'll see the gal's name that also put in for stormwater board, that she's also interested. But I kind of put her as form so, you know, we can keep things, I don't want to say status quo because everybody is doing a great job in their positions, but open that up for conversation for you all, especially on the legislative appointment. And then however you guys want to do the executive, if Richard is that person that appoints them, or if we have to wait until January, we reorganize, and whomever council president would be would then appoint those folks. So any questions or concerns? We did put this out on social media. It was on our website. We did try to, we even put it in the newspaper to try to gain interest from folks.
On the legislative side, sounds like Mr. Henry's doing an excellent job, and the other 2, Mr. Hawkins and Mr. Ventnor, sounds like the only person that was interested in that is who's under consideration for stormwater. I would move to nominate Josh Henry for Parks and Rec Board.
Should we do the board separate, or are you going to do redevelopment too?
I mean, if it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I'll move to nominate. I will nominate Josh Henry for Parks Board, David Hawkins for RDC, and John Venter for RDC. I don't know if anyone else has any other nominations.
I'm satisfied with that. I would second that.
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
Pass 5-0.
And then the executive, when we restructure, the new person can fall. If it's not going to,
The only one would.
gonna affect the meetings though, right?
So the stormwater board meets the day after your board meets. But currently it's only a 3-member body. So we'd be down to 2, so both would have to show up to that meeting. And so that's the only one that is, I don't want to say questionable, but we do not have a BZA meeting for January, so that one's not a rush. Redevelopment Commission, that was the individual that is interested in Stormwater Board was also interested in Redevelopment Commission.
Because of I'm sorry, I didn't.
No, you're fine.
Because of the technicality of, I mean, we can't change when these appointments end. Would it make sense to in forward-looking years to do the discussion of reorganization at the December meeting rather than January?
I think it's a good idea.
I mean, if you're always gonna have this kind of
Mhm.
piggybacked on that, I have no issue with that.
I would move to change our consideration of reorganization to the December meeting beginning in calendar year 2026.
And that's for the council reorganization to cover, that way you can vote on these things.
Yes.
So, and just as a, Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong. So for the incumbents, I guess for BZA and RDC, even if you guys do not move forward with appointing anybody, they would continue in their position until somebody is appointed, right? Or,
That is correct. There is a practical issue related to the redevelopment commission
Yeah.
in that they are required to have bonds each year.
Before they can vote.
Yes. And so there's timing and practical, payments and so forth associated with getting that done.
Well, then does it make sense to move it up to
You said,
November?
Well, no, I'm not concerned about that part. This year,
This year.
we can't. I mean,
We already
it really
voted
makes
on
it a
RDC.
difficult situation to wait until January.
Mhm.
For this coming year on the.
I mean, I have no problem of accepting if the council agrees that these names and these individuals are okay to, but I think
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine with for this year if we do it as the existing.
I just think it's always,
Council
it's
chair.
kind of funny how I think that needs to be tweaked going forward.
the only thing about reorganization is if we have elections, that those new people aren't going to start till January, so they're ones reorganizing and not who's in December.
It's a good point.
Oh, on the election cycle
Yeah.
thing.
When we have elections, since we're all on the same cycle,
redevelopment's unique because it's an annual appointment,
right?
so it makes it.
I think we need to talk about the stagger in the election. That way we don't do all
Yeah.
5 at one time. That's just a lot on you guys.
But
Problem is you end up
as far as executive,
pay for multiple municipal elections.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you could get 5 new board members in here, throw a loop to the employees.
the
that
clerk
they can-
treasurer.
And clerk treasurer. That's just,
No, I
Wow.
agree that from a practical point of view, it would make a ton of sense to stagger it. I just don't know what the financial implication is.
I'd really like to look into that.
The election, like our portion of the election, I don't recall off the top of my head.
Cost the town money to
Yeah.
do that.
Hey,
Well, we give a lot of money away, so we might as well just give it to that too, and make it better on employees. Cause I'll be honest, it would freak me out to work for a town where all 5 board members come up at once.
do we get a discount if we become a polling location?
Yes, you do.
We do? Okay, there you go. That's how we'll offset those.
Get the vote center here.
I mean, it would just be nice to look into that because that's a lot of stress, especially on town manager.
Let's talk about that.
Like I said, we give it away anyway, just whatever.
Maybe council
Think about it.
guys can make a formal,
Well, then
Well,
you
so-
gotta decide what, is it 2 or is it 3 members, or you stagger all?
It's 3-2, 3-2, 3-2.
So, as far as if there's a new council, I believe the executive appointments are almost all at will. And the board can reorganize itself at any time on the motion of any members. So that did come up. I think that it, let's say there was a new council and they wanted to go in a different direction, or, let's say that the outgoing president or that the incumbent president wasn't reelected. I think that the board can actually fix that itself if that were to become a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's correct on the redevelopment side. The BZA, I think they may have to be removed for cause.
Because I'm not certain.
And the stormwater board, I'm not sure.
and every other one is 4 years, like once parks is through the staggered, everybody else will be 4 years. It's with that redevelopment commission's appointment.
That's state law.
Well, I guess my thought would be that we should probably ask Stephen to give us learned opinion at our next meeting about the best way to resolve this.
when you say resolve this, just the whole timing situation,
Mhm.
I can do that. I don't know if I'm gonna have any, perfect answers.
I don't know that there is.
I think your suggestion, if you included an exception for the year prior to new, council members, being elected, if there's any change, might make some sense just to have the general rule, the default rule be in December, maybe at the end of the last December meeting, do your reorganization for the coming Jane.
The more that I think about it, I don't see how it can. Because the appointments are effective, or the terms end on the 31st. There is no way to get around if there's an incoming new council. Someone has to make the appointments the year before, or there's nobody appointed. I mean, there could be
Because
carryover.
No,
Okay.
they-
Yeah, we've always done it December.
Oh, he's done one in December.
The appointment.
Approve the appointments.
Yes, that's what I'm saying is that the confluence of when new members would be sworn in and when the appointments have to be made cannot be resolved by us. It's a conflict of state statute, so I don't think there is an answer. It's a practical conflict of state statute. So I guess my motion would be just from here, beginning in calendar year 2026. Our reorganization meeting would be changed to the December meeting rather than the January meeting, would be my motion. I think that's as close as we can get.
And in January, if someone didn't get reelected, then we can absolve that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't have to reorganize at any time, and
No,
also can reorganize at any time. That's just the meeting
Yeah.
that we take it up
we can
yearly
take care of it in January.
because the statute says a fixed term.
In December of 2027, you will know who is your next council.
Yes,
So the election will have already passed.
November,
You can
yeah.
Still continue
so.
to, either you postpone it because new people will be coming on.
December should be fine.
Yeah, that would be my motion. To move reorganization to the December meeting.
Have a second?
Second,
Quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
yes.
Brad Godecker,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 5-0.
Back to the executive appointments. What are we gonna do here?
I'm fine if.
You can do them.
If the sitting president appoints based off the panel that's before, that the town manager.
I mean, if everybody's consensus on that, we can make a decision for right now, then I'm good with that. We have consensus on that?
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay. So we're good. Go ahead, sir.
Have before you for disposable people vehicles. One is a 2019 Dodge Durango and the other is a 2019 Dodge Charger. Both are higher mileage vehicles and both have had headaches over the last few years. The Dodge Durango is our former K-9 vehicle. Currently needs $1,500 to $2,000 just to get it back on the road, get going. Because of mostly electrical problems, which it's had since we first purchased it. And we've spent about $4,800 in the last couple of years just to keep it operational on the road. We're ready to get rid of that vehicle. We would be recycling the materials, but the equipment from that vehicle, such as the K9 cage, into our 2015 Durango, which has low miles. Officer Webb currently has that vehicle. I think it's under 30,000 miles, I believe, or around 30,000 miles. And that vehicle should service us for many years as a backup K9 car and as a pool car. The Dodge Charger, we refer to it as the money pit. We've we put $6,000 in it in the last 2 years to keep it operational, to keep it on the road. It is constantly in the shop, constantly has something wrong with it. And it's specific to those particular vehicles that year with the V8 and the all-wheel drive, which they no longer make because of all the problems that they had with them. They're now the V6 and all-wheel drive. So those two vehicles that we'd like to dispose of. Funds from those vehicles would be used to outfit and equip a new vehicle, which we received funds from RDC to purchase a 2026 Ford Interceptor, like the last few that we've gotten. The maintenance has been great on those cars. We've had few problems with it. And then whatever money that was left, the sale of those two vehicles would go towards outfitting that vehicle and purchasing equipment and funds to take care of our other vehicles.
Okay.
So you're taking two vehicles and only replacing it with one,
Yes,
and the RDC's funding that?
yes.
So on the standpoint, when you buy new vehicles and so forth, Derek, do you take in consideration the Dodge Durango Charger, the Dodge brand on new purchases? You steer away from that, or do they correct, or what's your philosophy on you have a money pit and a lot of expenses, and then you go out and you need new vehicles? Do you steer clear of that, or how do you approach that?
So throughout from the beginning of my career on, it's kind of floated back and forth through time, whether, certain periods of time, the Fords are like the most reliable thing in the world that you can get. And all of a sudden it's Dodge, and the Fords either stop making those vehicles or something changed something about it, which doesn't quite purport to our best use. And then it moves to Chevy, and Chevy does well for a while, but then, and they jump back and forth. But the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 vehicles, other than the Tahoes that we bought, the Fords, have been by far our most reliable and easiest to maintain vehicles that have been on the road. That's why I decided to go with the Ford for this.
Okay. And then the next question is, what's your threshold on, I guess, nickel and diming vehicles to keep them functional and stuff? What's your threshold? Because 4,800 and where do you draw the line that says, hey, we're not going to spend any more money on this money pit and we need to come to the council and make a different decision? What is that threshold that you operate from?
In the past, we haven't really had one. It's been played just kind of by ear as we went along. I don't know where the best place would be to set that threshold, because it's going to depend a lot on the vehicle and, if it's been involved in any accidents or anything, what type of, we've had vehicles that we have one Dodge Durango that's on its 3rd motor. They went through that problem with Dodge where they started blowing motors. You have vehicles like, for instance, the K9 vehicle is going to have much harder use because you have a dog in it. You have a lot more equipment, a lot more electronics in that vehicle. So they're going to have much more wear on it than, say, just a patrol vehicle or a vehicle like a lieutenant or a sergeant would have on it. So it's kind of hard. I don't know where to say the set threshold for it, because it kind of depends on the vehicle and mileage. There may be one vehicle that has 100,000 miles on it that's far more operational than one that has 60,000 miles on it, depending on just how it's the life has gone with the vehicle.
Okay.
Do you know what the warranty is on the 2026s?
Off the top of my head, I do not. I want to say, well, I don't know this, but I don't recall exactly what it is. I have the information.
I was just curious how much past the warranty, then we start sinking money into the car.
What I've seen in the past has been usually after about 5 years. For 5 years, it's generally tires and oil changes, a few scattering of things. But then after 5 years, or when it gets 80,000 miles and above, we start putting more money in the cars.
Okay.
An asset life is typically 5 to 7 years for a police car. Like town trucks, and that is about 10 years. So there are asset life, like kind of expectancies put on vehicles, and the public safety can have a shorter lifespan just because they're ran a lot harder. It's about 5 to 7 years.
Have you ever thought about extended warranties? I mean, is that something you do when you buy cars?
They never work out, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I don't drive a car enough to,
No, that's
All these cars, they don't offer. They know how we.
you know, I mean, I never get an extended warranty
No,
because I don't
They shouldn't.
miles on a car, but
Yeah, they don't, from my knowledge in the past, I don't think most don't offer an extended warranty on police cars because they know how to work.
I mean, my car's 4
It
years old.
seems like every time people were coming in with truck problems or car problems, it's always electrical. Is one guy wiring all this up? Because man, if he is, we need to find it. Yeah, because we need to find another guy, because that's
Yeah.
what we heard from the fire department. That's what we're hearing from you. Find another electrician.
Some of those problems have to do with that, and some had to do with design problems with the Dodge. There was a few years in between where fuse boxes just melted. They got too hot, and at the time when we'd have those problems, we had one our K9, that same K9 Durango, died in training when Officer Doss was in Alabama with K9 going through the K9 school because the fuse box melted.
Oh my God.
And it was, I know it was expensive fix to it because it was going to be 1.5 years to get a fuse box from China to replace it.
Oh my gosh.
Is that when he was in Iraq?
Mhm.
Things we've run into in the past, but
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. It probably got gravely wrecked in the fuse box.
Well, I don't have a problem with this if anybody else doesn't.
I don't either.
they have the other town departments and nobody was interested in it.
I'll move to approve the disposal.
Second, please.
Yes.
Brad, quick roll call, please.
Tim Brown,
Yes.
Greg Godecker,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
I pass 5-0.
So the next thing, and we just added this today to your packet. But this has already been approved in the most recent bond that we did for the Bob Glidden and Whiteland Road route. But I went ahead and had Derek go ahead and get started with the flock camera company just to make sure what the lead time was when we go to install this roundabout, and the financing has already been approved through that. But Derek was able to quickly get in contact with Flock Safety. And if we can sign this contract by the end of the year, they will pay the installation. Actually, we can go ahead and install it prior to the roundabout being put in. We've already discussed locations. We're just double checking with one of the property owners to see if we can place it at the Loves on their property, just so we stay out of NDOT's right of way there at Warrior Trail. But Derek was on it when I kind of reached out last week and said, let's see what the lead time and things of that nature and that. Stephen, I've sent it to him for review. There might be some.
There are a few things I haven't finished my review.
Okay.
There are a few things we'll try and address.
So it would be pending legal counsel request to approve, and this would be for a 2-year subscription. So we buy the cameras and we have to buy a subscription, but that subscription gives the police department the opportunity to get into the whole flock system. So they'll be able to see the information from the license plate readers all across the state or all over across the country. And so the school corporation has a couple of the cameras. Bargersville has them, the state has them. And so we'll all be linked up to where if there's an incident where they're trying to spot a vehicle, and now they'll be able to find, on Whiteland Road, if they're trying to access the interstate or coming off the interstate and that. So it's a great opportunity for us. And then moving forward after the 2-year subscription, then the subscription would be worked into their budget for future years.
How much is the subscription after you have the hard wire and the camera? How much is it?
$3,000 a year per camera.
I'm sorry?
$3,000 a year per camera.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
In the past, these cameras, and I've had a user log in and use the system through the school, working there as a part-time employee. Been able to use that through here also, and it's personally, I know if I can think of 2 burglaries, robbery, and several thefts that we've solved just by having access to those license plate reader cameras. And that was back when they weren't even as close to where they are now on 31. They were, down in around Earlywood and Franklin and up in Greenwood. They're spreading more and more. There's even, you now find even businesses like the mall, Walmart's, Lowe's stores that are installing them in and out of their exits, neighborhoods, homeowners associations are putting them in. And more cameras out there, for things like, we probably responded anywhere from 2 to 5 accidents or hit and run accidents a day at our truck stops and out by the interstate, and things like this help us when we don't have the officers to set all around town to watch, the intersections and areas where we know these things are going on. It gives us an access to be able to investigate those things, to be able to get on and log in and search for, the vehicle we've seen at that time.
So this is going up at the new roundabout up by,
Near, it's like right, so the locations that Derek selected is for the westbound traffic would be ideally at the Loves, at that corner of Warrior Trail and Whiteland Road. The other one that would then catch eastbound traffic would be, it's the Amazon Pork Chop entrance, the passenger vehicle, and right in, right out. So it would be at that location. So it would stay outside of the construction limits of the roundabout to where it wouldn't have to be modified or moved, but they do have the capabilities of being moved if we decide like maybe the angle's wrong, or maybe this isn't the best location for us to put this in. Their solar, so they don't require electricity. So it's, and then, like I said, other communities, when we first investigated it, we spoke with Bargersville and their PD and just kind of asked, like, where do you put them? How do you use them? And it's mainly at their entry points into their community. And for us, with everybody else around us kind of having it, that was where the patients there felt would be the most.
Biggest blind spot that we have is, that's where those things coming into and out of our town. If it's not on 31, which has already had coverage between Franklin, Greenwood, and New Island, which are putting up cameras, that's kind of our biggest blind spot. And, gives us the best coverage of where those locations are there. And it also, for the construction of the roundabout, will put cameras for vehicles coming up to and away from the roundabout in that area, so that if we have any type of construction thefts or people driving through yards or property destroying things, we'd be able to have that information. My understanding also, once the contract is signed, we would have immediate access to all the other cameras in the United States that are shared. And the year contract for the cameras doesn't start correct, which they said it was intended time out depending on weather in the ground falls, basically what we're supposed to send them.
okay. Well, and then in the $10,000 donation of that food service company is also going to potentially help too, a couple, 3 years, maybe flock camera service.
That become first year.
So
This may come as a surprise, but I opposed this when Chief Ship first brought it up several years ago, and I remain opposed to it. And I understand that it's I'm tilting at a windmill, but I have, I guess, a principled problem with both privatized policing. I just have a problem with it. I have a principal problem with the private sector being authorized to basically create law enforcement databases, and then law enforcement pays for them. And then I have a secondary principled problem with, I don't like generalized government surveillance of people who aren't suspects in anything.
I agree.
So I'm not in favor of these. I understand they're everywhere. I understand Clark Pleasant has them. I understand that my opposition makes no actual difference, but I'm not in favor.
I feel the same way.
well, it's something that it's subscription based. So once it's hardwired or put up and you decide, if you decide that maybe this isn't justifying the means at $3,000 per camera over the course of a couple of years, it becomes null and void if you don't subscribe, right?
Right. Yeah. At the end of the subscription, if you were to prove it, if we were to find that it wasn't helpful in solving things, it wasn't being used in the way that it was thought that would work, then yes, at the end of the subscription, it would be equipment would return to Flock and
The actual equipment would go back. So we're just basically leasing all the equipment and the subscription service.
yes,
So if the equipment breaks, who pays for the fix? They do?
they do. The maintenance of the equipment, if there's any battery changes or equipment stolen or destroyed, it's
$3,000 a year they ought to.
Do you have a lot of problems up in that generalized area with the truck stop and Amazon and all that
that's
creates?
80% of our call volume is out in that area.
Yeah.
Between hit and runs, accidents, thefts, different things at the Amazons, or the DHL warehouse, we're constantly out in that area. Any number of calls.
Would this lower our insurance rates at all or something like that,
You know,
as a
and
preventative type of thing? It doesn't?
No.
have not like indicated that. And I've also asked about cameras on vehicles and things of that nature, trackers in the sense of like speeding and things of that nature. And they can't really put a number to that to say, this is how much you would save or.
We get a discount for it at Burgersville. I know that for.
I looked into it for ours and they really,
I think you need to press it a little more because it really helps. Because with all our fleet, we actually just put them in all our big trucks. All our dump trucks, anything big. Now our regular trucks don't have them. They have trackers, but they don't have cameras in them. We got cameras all the way around that truck. That way, if there's an accident, we can get on to see where the accident, see if the driver was at fault, or see if his ride caught two of them. Cell phones, big thing, you know. So,
You know,
yeah,
I mean, we're insured for our vehicle operations and whatnot, but we don't have insurance against other people's acts out on the highway. So this, I do not believe affects any insurance rate.
Don't we already have one of these somewhere operational?
School has.
Oh, it's the schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
School has two at the high school and I believe two around the middle school, the area there off Chic and Horseville.
got more money with it.
So what is the ask? I mean, I appreciate this coming before us. You said, you know, like, though the bond included something, but I mean, I also am very hesitant for additional government oversight on, you know, folks that are not subject to an investigation or something. So like, I mean, what's like this presentation today? What is the ask for these? Like, I mean, is there an ask or is it just informing us of something? Because I mean, I'm inclined to not want them.
the ask was to sign the contract with Flock, that we could go ahead and get those. So when Rick was here, we did discuss, but didn't go into full depth of what these would actually do. I knew it was discussed that the license plate readers, and, you know, the out by the interstate would be helpful for the police. And, you know, and Derek alluded to how it's helped them thus far. You know, with the subscription that he's had access to with the student and such. So, I guess.
Gives us extra eyes and, you know, more investigative tools that we don't have. We, you know, limited to one or two people, sometimes three people on duty at a time. And when something happens and you're on the other side of town, it gives us a tool to be able to go back to investigate. To when somebody says a red car hit me and left the scene at 12:15, we can go back to that camera and pull up any red car leaving the area around 12:15 and be able to say, okay, here's the license plate of the, you know, and here's the damage on the vehicle because it takes a picture along with it, and be able to track that back. Or, you know, there's a burglary at, well, for instance, I forget the name of it now, the Mexican restaurant on Whiteland Road in 31. There's a burglary there at like 3 o'clock in the morning. They didn't find it until later that day, but being able to go back through cameras from the surrounding businesses to find the vehicle leaving, then being able to find it on Flock, I was able to find it and arrested a couple, a guy and a lady involved in 6 other burglaries in 4 counties. And I think he still has 2 or 3 pending burglary with priors sitting in jail still today. And that was like almost 3 years ago. So those are the type of ways it would be used. There's all kinds of functions to it and functionality. For us, it's more of an investigative tool.
You don't have anything to hide.
Not so much as to
Tired of
run
it.
every license plate that comes through town and know who's coming in and out. So it's to go back and literally have eyes on something that we can't keep an eye on all the time ourselves.
Doesn't matter. Right's right, wrong's wrong.
I just have a fundamental problem with that. Whether it's me or anybody else, every time that I drive down 31, a private database logs it and then sells it to the police. I'm not going to support that. Every vehicle is logged by a private company who creates a private database paid for by the public and then sells it back to the police. I'm not going to support it personally. I understand that it's already in place. I understand that it's already functional in most places. I understand most of our neighbors have it. But I felt the same way back when I was a prosecutor, and I feel the same way now. So I'm not likely to support it.
Just if someone want to make a motion for it, then we'll just vote on it.
Do we have a motion for it or a motion against it? I mean, to me, I mean, I look at it as it's a tool for investigative purposes. That I agree wholeheartedly with you guys on. I'm not big on everybody in my business and stuff if I'm not breaking the law. But if the time comes to where if there is a problem and I happen to be rear-ended and it's a run, I would hope that there would be some tool to investigate to hold the person accountable for damaging my vehicle or hurting me or my family. It's like anything else. Technology has good and bad points. It all depends on what your intention is. I mean, these little phones that everybody has. I mean, you guys have conversation with your wives or your friends, and next thing you know, all the ads are coming up. It's happening on your cell phones.
It is, but that doesn't make me feel any different.
No, no,
Um,
I'm just giving
I just can't wait till I retire and throw the telephone away.
So the motion needs to be made tonight is to sign the contract.
Pending legal counsel, that by the end of the year, we can save a little money.
Okay, well, we've got a vote. It's before the board, so I'm gonna make a motion to approve signing the contract. I mean, after 2 years, if we don't like it, I suppose
Yeah,
we
it's not
can
void.
revisit the issue.
have a second. Can I make a second?
Yes.
Sure.
I'll make a second. Roll call vote, please.
All right, Tim Brown,
No,
Brad Godecker,
No.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Joe Saylor,
no,
and Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right. Denied 2-3.
Thanks for taking a look at that information now.
thank you, Chief.
So since you're up, I guess we'll just go back right into you, Mr. Cox, for your update on your police department, sir.
Last meeting, still working on policy, working on.
Board advisors, isn't it?
I do have for you a copy of a press release that will be released later tonight to the media. Go ahead, hand it out to everybody. Pass one down. So this is going back a little ways. So our agency earlier this year investigated this, and I haven't been able to speak about it until now. Nobody has previous to this because of ongoing investigations and some situations that we had to resolve first. But June 17th, our officers, including me, responded to a suspicious call. A truck driver had noticed during his pre-inspection trip that somebody had cut and replaced the seal off of his trailer. We went out and the truck driver had opened the trailer and found 10 boxes, which were not part of the original load. Inside those boxes, we found 159 kilograms of cocaine. Just over or under, I don't recall the conversion, 350 pounds. I've been told that the seizure is approximately $16 million street value of cocaine. And I've researched and I can't find any larger seizure in the state of Indiana anytime in the past that's online or in we can find. Since the seizure, I didn't want to bring this out, didn't want anything to know about this until we were able to get it out of this building because we don't have proper storage.
That's 16 million.
I had $16 million of cocaine sitting on a file cabinet behind my head. Since then, we've transferred it to another agency who has agreed to store it for us, pending us destroying that. I've been in contact with several different agencies with the 3-letter initials about investigations involving this, and it's down to where now it's in a laboratory now being tested for different things that, you know, I didn't want somebody coming back here looking for their missing property. So it is no longer here. I've also learned as doing a great job with this and getting this off the streets, it's also going to cost us around $2,000 to destroy it, to take it to have it incinerated at a lab. And that, I don't know when that's going to be, but I would imagine within the next few months we'll incur that cost. So hopefully
Feds won't take it?
What's that?
The feds won't take it?
They've given us a good job, great job, and yeah.
They don't want to lose.
Didn't you sell
$2,000 out of their budget.
Didn't you sell a kilo of it to pay for the destruction?
So we're hoping next time to find the truckload of cash coming back and
Yeah.
truckload of powder.
Guarantee you the feds would have an interest in forfeiting that.
Yes, they would have a large interest in that. That's really all I have to report, other than what's the getting with the vehicles and the flock for tonight.
So
Excellent job.
yeah, great job to your officer, sir. So having this in our little town, is there like increased surveillance or increased driving around duty or anything like that is happening? That seems odd that somebody just broke the seal, loaded it in there, resealed it and walked away, and then the truck driver didn't know anything.
They didn't reseal it. He caught it by what your report says that the seal was broken.
Yeah, they put a different seal on it. It was a metal seal cut off and it was like a plastic seal replaced back on it.
But it didn't match the manifest that he has in the
No,
cab.
he came back, he was gone from his truck for a while and came back and said, this isn't right. And his company said, cut it open and see if anything's missing.
So I guess my point is are we some sort of hub right here for
No, that's
narcotics?
Well, we're at a centralized location for anything that comes through. Anything, if it's moving from, say, Mexico to Chicago or going through the Midwest, we're right in the middle of the South Indianapolis. We're right in the middle of every interstate, right in any direction. Things going to Canada, we're right in the middle between Mexico and Canada of shipments coming through, and that would be anything from this, drugs, potentially human trafficking. Anything can come in and out of our truck stops. There's probably billions and tens of billions of dollars of merchandise just from our warehouses and the trucks that go in and out of those stops at any time that we have no idea what would be in those. We just happen to have this guy be very vigilant and come across this and get a hold of us immediately. And that's how we were able to take this. It could be, anything could come through us.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed.
We're Indian. What's that?
I'm pretty impressed he found that, because let's be honest, most truck drivers don't do a pre-trip. They just glance and go on, but this guy, to catch that's pretty impressive.
A fair amount of what comes up, say from Florida, then comes up through Louisville, and then comes up through Indianapolis, and a lot of it ends up in Chicago. But like the DEA will actually follow vehicles up 65 by plane that they know are, whatever they've done down in Louisville or down in Florida or whatever. And then they hit distribution points and whatnot. But where Indianapolis is located with all those interstates coming in and out, there's always a fair amount of everything moving up and down 65 and 70 and 74, and particularly 65 up in Chicago.
So the truck stop didn't have a camera?
They don't have any cameras in the lots.
No.
You don't want to know what goes on.
Yeah. Customers don't want them. I just there and there. So it's other than like the fuel islands generally. The other thing we're starting to see a lot from our truck stops too, because they're again, all the cargo coming in through is we're having a lot of cargo thefts. We had $300,000 worth of iPads taken, not too long ago. 2 days ago, we had $250,000 worth of Legos and computers taken out of some semis that were related to some other thefts as well. We were just one of the stops on those. I recovered a semi full of shoes, $1.6 million worth of shoes from out there as part of a theft. There's things going through us and stopping and then leaving us that don't really have to do with the town, just our location on the map and along the interstate, things that come through that and when these things happen, it takes days, weeks, months of phone calls, investigations and follow-ups and things that, while we're trying to take, our PD accidents or bin checks or help somebody with whatever it is. So it complicates those things, makes it even harder. And we're seeing it more and more often, and we're not the only ones. Everybody around us is seeing the same thing too. Franklin has had millions and millions of dollars worth of cargo thefts from some of their warehouses. Greenwood is constantly working the same thing. It's not particular to us. It's just a growing trend that we're seeing.
Okay, well, thank you very much and congratulations on that. That's big.
Back up for the.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I just have one point of clarification, a date clarification on the holiday calendar. We had the day wrong. We had it as, for Memorial Day, we had it as May 23rd, not May 25th. So just point of clarification, that was something that you all adopted for holiday schedule. So I don't know if we need to re-vote on that. It literally was just a typo. So don't know if that's something you need to clarify. That.
We have consensus.
Yeah, it's a Scrivener's error.
Typo.
Town manager's fine to correct it, I think.
The only other thing is last month when we came to you asking about the trucks, as we were finishing up the paperwork and the discussion was to move forward with 4 of the 2500s. But when we went to go start the order, we realized that they were 6-foot beds and the guys wanted 8. So it adjusted the cost just a little bit, but it only put me over our not to exceed amount by less than $500. But I wanted to round that up. You previously approved, it was like 192,000 and some odd cents, like 269. Wanted to ask if we could just bump that up to a not to exceed 193,000 so we could get those ordered. So it's less than $500 is the cost difference after we worked on, actually 2 of them are going to be 8-foot beds. The others are going to be 6.
And those are all plow capable.
Yes.
Yeah, they were 250s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're 3/4.
2500s because they're shitty.
I would move to change the not to exceed in that authorization to 193,000 or whatever that number was.
3. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
I think you're good.
We had a motion.
Was that a motion or?
Yeah, it was
I was going to second it.
okay.
Roll call on that, please.
On what?
Tim Brown,
Yes, $500 more for the
Oh.
trucks.
Baylor,
Yes.
Deb Hendrickson,
Yes.
Richard Hill.
Yes.
All right, pass 5 to 0.
It's a more bigger bed. I agree. It's just how life is. You were mending your shoes.
For Funkhauser's not.
Thank you.
Armando, do you have anything, sir?
I don't have anything prepared for y'all, but so Armando Santiago, DPW coordinator. So first and foremost, I know I've met most of you here or whatnot. I know we have a lot of dealings that come up, with the town and what we're getting done for the town. So one of the things that I wanted to bring up, I know I've had a conversation with some town council where your constituents do talk to you about issues that they might see. Please let us know what time so we can address any issues that come up within the town and what's going on so that we can be proactive and not reactive. Just to make sure that we're, if there's any issue, requirement into us and we can better serve the community.
Thank you.
Armando, I did have a question. So are we good on all the snow plow equipment?
Fine, good. Here's what I'll say. So our town is hurting on equipment, right? So, and I wrote it on my book, and I keep on telling the guys, the work gets done and it's not always because of the equipment, it's because of just the perseverance of the employees that you guys have here. So you have a total of 8 DPW employees, all encompassing, right? And they do God's work, I will say that, with the equipment that we have. No, right now, we're not good on salt equipment or winter equipment. We have picked up 2 salters, or correct, the 1 salter that's come in, small one. We have a second one coming in. But that in itself helps us in the subdivisions and so forth, so on. The biggest issue comes with the big plows, the big equipment. Our equipment is old, it's hurting. I get your point about, money and what it costs us, but we have to make a fiscal responsibility and a choice and say, hey, when is enough enough? When do we stop the bleeding? When do we start getting healthy on equipment? So I think, it's a conversation that I'll have with Carmen is, hey, what do we do with the equipment that we have? How do we get healthy? We can continue to throw money, different than the police department has done with the vehicles, but it's not going to get us far. I can tell you that, and Carmen knows that I feel horrible because I'm always asking for money, but I will venture to say that we probably dumped $15,000 this beginning snow season just to get equipment operational, not fully operational. Now, what does that mean? We can salt some, but then as soon as we're done salting, we don't even make it through the entire neighborhood or entire streets before we're back in John's under a vehicle trying to get it back and running. So we're having a lot of issues with the big equipment, and it's just obviously years of, the equipment being used and the fact that equipment gets old. Salt is horrible on vehicles, and therefore we're going to continue to have issues. I would definitely say, hopefully get us through this snow season, and then what do we do next year? How do we get healthy? We'll definitely say that. So to answer your question, we're getting there, but we're still going to struggle. And this is the beginning, not even the winter, quite frankly. So we're going to continue to have issues. So you might have some big asks that come from me from the DPW side. It's going to happen, and I know Deb, you've been here for a while, and some of the other residents, think back, when's the last time DPW got actually equipment for, a winter equipment, for example. When's the last time we replaced trucks? We had obviously, Slim's truck was probably the last vehicle that got replaced, besides these 4 vehicles. So, you'll have very large asks that are going to come. I told Carmen one day, I said, hey, I need $1.4 million. I was being facetious. I need $1.4 million, right? But, it's just a lot of wear and tear on the equipment. We need to replace our equipment. We'll bring that, to you guys. The vac truck is another one of those things, Yes, absolutely. We can go out and go the equipment, but when is the town going to be able to take care of itself? When can we be self-sufficient so we can say, hey, we have employees, we have the right equipment, let's utilize who we have to do the job that they were hired to do. So, and that's my take, so. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, sir. Mr. Richards, do you have anything, sir?
I got a question. What about them broken fire hydrants? That's fire safety, public safety, answer.
Waiting to hear back from Mueller.
Okay, we probably ought to really stay up on that as best we can to make sure that we get them. And are they all out of service now?
Bradenton, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Stephen, is there a plan on, we're waiting on Mueller. We kind of discussed that last month about, I guess there were parts, some of them discontinued. To Mr. Brown's point, we really need to push them a little bit and then have a plan in place to try to get some of these back online if we can. Is that in works now, or could you just come up and explain, sir?
Waiting to hear back from our Mueller rep on the parts. The big ones that are out, especially over here, are all Kennedy's. I can't find Kennedy rep. I've reached out through their hotline. I've reached out to our supplier. I was actually going to get with you after this meeting to see if maybe you knew somebody, because I know you've got a few Kennedys yourself, maybe.
Not many. We've switched all ours out and got rid of them.
All switched out. Okay. I'd love to do that, but
If you switched them out, maybe you got a couple.
No, we trash them. They're junk.
they're trash when they arrive.
What brand is that again? Kennedy?
Kennedy.
So we can't find a rep for replacement part?
I'll check tomorrow in my office. I got cards, so I'll check tomorrow and I'll give you a call.
I would love to just rip the Kennedys out of the ground and put a Mueller in place, but Tim, you can attest to this. They're not compatible with the connection on the mains. And some of these areas are so old, they don't even have an auxiliary valve on the hydrant, so we'd have to do a whole main shutdown to swap them.
Or a line stop, which a line stop on a 6 inch is $4,500.
So about that much off the main.
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that would be kind of the top of a priority in 2026 to target
Yeah.
strategic location, public safety, and we get these functional, and then
Yeah.
do we have money in the budget to where we can
It was in
target some of these at all?
169,000, so what do you?
Well,
I know.
I want it all, like Armando said. I mean, we need it all.
We can do in water improvement. It doesn't have to necessarily come out of the water operating.
And I would
Improvement in water.
I would hate to be in the spring or some, or the summer season, and our fire hydrants aren't functional, and then we have other issues that we're gonna have to be concerned about. So
Absolutely.
if we can just ask, we put some sort of plan together and target some of that.
Carmen, when does the general obligation bond available for renewal that we bought Slim's truck with? And
I think it still has 2 more years, next year and then 2027. I can't remember if it has 1 or 2. It might only.
I've been gone 2 years.
It was a 5-year though.
Yeah.
So I can double check on that. But the other thing I will say for public safety is the fire department is aware of the hydrants that are out. And so if they go into a situation, a call, we have a tanker to help if there's a call that's near that specific.
I bet it's quicker on a hydrant because you got to fill that tanker truck up to bring it back.
I'm just saying,
There are, you're right.
we don't have,
Right. Yeah, we're adequate to fight it. I agree, but it is quicker.
They're GPS coded for us right now. Every time he tells me what's wrong, I update it in our GPS system. So as we're pulling out the door, we'll know what's in service and we can start making plan B, C, and D.
Is there working hydrants along Briar Hill?
Yes.
Okay.
So all you're worried
I mean,
about.
that should be the concern around the
Get them-
entire town is
Yeah, no.
not just our.
And it's not, Richard.
Yeah.
If I could just
Years ago, I paid $2,500 if happened to that water line.
get.
Years ago.
You talk about this, what parts we need, where we can get them.
I mean, I would like to see something early next year on a budget of what's it gonna take to get some of these, I'm not saying all, I'm just saying we gotta have a plan in place to make sure that this is, because we can't rely on a tanker truck.
No.
Because what if the tanker truck goes to another fire,
Right.
another municipality, and then we have no fire hydrants?
Oh, no, absolutely. I'm 100% with you. They carry 5 inch of LDH on.
I gotta play the lottery.
And then or they carry 1,000 foot of 5 inch LDH on truck. And from there, it's pumper truck relay. And that's a nightmare, but it works. It
Yeah.
works. But I don't like that. My goal is to have every hydrant.
I mean, just to look at some numbers to see what you're talking about would be helpful.
And this is, I believe, would fall within our asset management plan that has been long overdue, but we're finally doing, so that we are basically keeping up on things that are depreciating, things that are breaking down, and then we are squirreling money away in a proactive fashion so we can pay for it in the future, because it's no one's fault, but historically, the town has not done a great job of being proactive about that. So I think that the asset management plan that Carmen is putting together will probably turn our infrastructure and our equipment in a very different direction than maybe some of the problems we have now.
We're trying to get
I
there.
hope so.
And one of the things, just to add to, for Steve, one of the things that we're gonna actually do, and one of the things that Carbon has tasked all the, so the entirety of the DPW is, hey, how do we get better, right? So understanding that we might not have the equipment or whatnot, but we're looking at everything from contracted solutions that can actually come out and, hey, yes, it's gonna cost us some money because, trying to undertake replacing all the hydrants ourselves, it is gonna be a daunting task. Once again, it's, hey, how do you split what you have and actually get the job done? If some of these are gonna require, because they're gonna require a professional to come down, especially those I mean, you're looking at a lot of live repairs, trying to do a lot of live repairs. And then doing it on our mains and so forth, so on. So we do owe Carmen, and we've been providing is everything from a contractor list that the town can use and have here so that we can potentially have to do some of these things as a contract solution. So you will see that it will be obviously, there is a cost associated by having a third party, but what does that get us? That get us for one peace of mind, that gets us an insurance on the project itself. And it gives us those warranties that we might need to carry moving forward with the projects. So just, keep that in mind,
Yeah.
understanding that, yes, the fire hydrants are a priority for the town and should be a priority. And it's like, hey, okay, right now, how do we get that done? Realistically, I do see that moving forward to next year to make sure, at this point, we have to move forward to next year and then develop a good plan where, we can brief Carmen and give Carmen, a solution and just necessarily present a problem to her. But
Okay.
we can do that.
Sounds like you guys are on it then.
So Pierceville, who, from what I hear, is they give you a price on fixing stuff. Did Pierceville do it?
No, we've had 4 different companies.
Wayland and all of them.
Yeah, we've had 4 different companies. So with Jesse's, vast knowledge and what he's done and so forth, so on, obviously Steve's, we're working with different companies, and to include Brian, our MS4 coordinator. We've been working with a lot of different companies, not just for the water side, but just all encompassing, whether it's sewer, whether it's storm and so forth, so on. So just know that will come, but it'll come in a form of probably a contract.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Jones?
I just have a couple updates for you guys from last month on some things you guys had asked me about. In regards to the violation at Sunrise Property Group at the Dairy Queen, sat down with them about 2 weeks ago, and we had a conversation. They were asking me stuff about what we wanted, back and forth. A couple days later, I received an email. They requested an extension. I'd given them 60 days to get it complete. So I put my foot down pretty much. So they had asked for an extension for 180 days due to the time of the year it is, where that grease trap's actually going to sit. It's going to be in asphalt. And so if they were to dig it all out and try to put it back, they wouldn't be able to put asphalt back until spring. And that would make things complicated for them getting in and out of the drive-through. So we granted the extension. So they have until May 31st of 2026 to get it done. And that's fully completed. But in addition to that, they're going to have their trap cleaned every 2 weeks, and they're going to send me a report once a month on the first day of the month every year, or every month, sorry. So that's the agreement we're in with them now, and that ball's rolling and we're moving. In regards to the wastewater plant and the oxidation ditch, I talked to Lawyer Construction today. They were planning on being in this week. The weather's kind of set them back a few days, so hoping on getting in for the end of the week or early next week.
That's the cleanup.
For the oxidation ditch, yes.
Oh, it's on my list.
Yep.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And then we're all good back on with the problem we had with the ditch and the bearing and everything. We're all
Yes,
back in compliance with the wastewater and
that one's up and
distributing.
running and everything's working.
We're good with item. We're back in good graces.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yep. And we're probably getting about a 98% removal. So we're back in normal.
That's where we need to be.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you for your efforts, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I do. I know how it feels, especially plowing snow all night. I went in and helped. I get it. I know there's things we could all do better in everywhere, but with the equipment you got, I've seen it. It's rough. It's been rough for a long time. I mean, all your equipment has been rough for a while. We've actually just started integrating in a lot of ours too. We've had them for a long time, so I understand that point. So you'll have my support on equipment and stuff within reason.
I'll interject real quick. We've had great conversations with Whiteland and Burgersville as far as what can we do, even though we don't necessarily have a written mutual aid agreement like we do with fire. But Dax and I got together last week or the week before last, town manager at Burgersville, just to kind of say it just only makes sense. We have something that was drafted during the tornadoes, so I shared that with him since he wasn't town manager at the time. Called me right before the weekend, said, let me know what you need, if you need any help, because I kind of told him where we were at. And then New Whitelands offered to help us, with, they've got that fun brine machine, so they've even offered to help us, because it helps them too, especially here on Whiteland Road. So we are starting more of that collaborative, kind of working together, and it only makes sense to, and I reached out to Luke Maston at the Highway Department too, just to kind of see if there's an opportunity for us to, pinch hit for them on a couple of their roads, because there's sections of like Tracy Road, for example, part of it's New Whiteland, then it goes to county, then it goes to Whiteland. And so it only makes sense for us to, why, we hit county, we're gonna blade their blades, it just, and we don't, but but it's one of those things where, I've asked Armando to reach out and like, what kind of equipment could we cost share, or could we borrow, or whatever? And so, that's been something that we've been also trying to look at, put in our toolbox of, if we can't do it, could we negotiate with another community to help us out?
I appreciate that.
Public comment at all? Council comment? Okay, with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn.
Don't we gotta ask the internet?
He said public.
Is there anybody on the public that
I thought he.
Public
asked if
screen.
nobody looked down to say.
have any questions?
They're all muted, so.
Okay. I just want to
Go
make
ahead and
sure.
adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Don't screw it up. Well, me screw it.